All right, let's make sure that this is all working. Yep, hello everyone. Today we will be going through the most instructive chess games that were played on the 1st of October. And yes, I do realize that here in Australia it is already the 2nd of October, but it was the 1st of October in the time zones where these games were played. Well, with one exception, but we are going to get to that in a moment. So basically, yeah, this is going to be a bit of a new series, kind of going through some most destructive games. We'll see how you guys enjoy it and all, and also since this is live, just do let me know. Just making sure that you can hear me just fine, that you're able to see the chessboard. If you can just let me know that in the chat, then yeah, that will be very much appreciated. So I know I'm not just like talking to myself, as it were. Okay, let's get into the first game I want to share. And actually, this first game was played not today, but actually was played a couple of days ago. But I want to include it because it's actually a game that's relevant for the October, well, for the live FIDE rating lists. Because after the Olympiad concluded, Arjun Erigaisi was the third highest rated player in the world and is shown as a number three on the October FIDE rating list. And this game is playing black against Edis Gürel, the Turkish 15-year-old, already rated 2600. And Erigaisi was black, Gürel was white. This is how the opening went as such. And yeah, I mean, we could say that Black probably got a fine position out of the opening, but the reason that this game is quite topical is because it means that because Gurul actually won this game against Erigaisi, it means that actually now Caruana is like third on the live ratings, Gukesh is fourth on the live ratings, and Erigaisi is now fifth. So it means we have a new like Indian number one again on the live ratings in that respect. Yeah, I mean, from my point of view, probably a move such as Queen E2 and Rook E1 might give better chances for an advantage. I still think Black is doing fine here anyway. You can play moves like D5, Knight C3, and leave White structure a little bit less flexible. But okay, to be fair with this game, I don't want to focus so much on like just going through the full game because I have six games I prepared, and if we go through the full game of everyone, we are going to be here for quite a while in a sense. However, yeah, we could definitely show like some of the highlights. And the part of the game where things get especially interesting to my mind is the position here after queen to d7, because it's a position where, the pawn on d5 is clearly under attack. Black has a passed c pawn, and Black's king is more active here. So on the surface, it might seem that actually it's Black who is going to be playing for a win in a position such as this one as such. However, as it turns out, White does have a little bit of a trick here. And if you want to try and say in the chat what move you think White should play, then you can definitely put that in, to make it a little bit more interactive as such. Like when I'm sort of doing recordings like for, training videos for my students, normally what I do is I kind of like ask people to pause the video and then, kind of basically then they figure out their move, they can sort of resume as it were. So if you're watching this like the recording rather than the live of this video, then yeah, you may like to do that as such for this as well as for the next puzzles. But yeah, in this position, there's kind of a few moves White can play technically, like d6 is okay, queen a8 is okay as well, just sort of keeping the pawn defended. But the trickiest move is the one White played of a4, with the idea being that in this case, well, Black ended up taking the pawn in the game, and even though it's not a mistake, maybe to move king b6 and just kind of avoiding the danger that comes might have been the safer approach at the very least here. But Black decided to take the pawn, and now the trick kind of becomes apparent because White played this move of queen to c5. Already asking some tricky questions, because not only are we stopping that c pawn from advancing for now, but we also have ideas of pushing our own pawn to queen. And as a general principle, when it comes to queen endgames, basically queen endgames really come down to, well, who can get their pawn kind of queen the fastest without getting into some sort of perpetual check. And at this point, if you want to try and play better than Eric Icy, again, you might like to suggest in the chat below what move you would play in this situation. But yeah, as it happened, Black played this move of king to b3, which ended up being a decisive mistake actually, where after d6, apparently flicking in queen b6 and kind of making them like block their pawn is apparently even better again. But as it happened, yeah, Black move d6 is played, which is still good enough to be fair. Like if c3, you can go queen c7, and it kind of becomes clear that white's pawn is going to be faster than black's here. And if black does try to go for a perpetual check, like with this sort of thing, we are able to cover it. We'll move like queen to e5, and it's a little bit messy, but basically we'll be able to set this up where, even though black is framing the queen with checkmate, we can throw in some intermediate checks like queen to b5, and well, wherever their king goes, we'll take the a5 pawn with check. So that's kind of the first point. But then we'll also be able to play queen d2, and that sort of opens the door to queen out pawn and have a winning queen endgame from there as such. But instead, yeah, queen g7 was played. And then things get a little bit easier for white, because after queen b5, black is going to lose one of these two pawns with check on the next move. And after king c3, queen takes a5, king b3, queen b5. Yeah, basically this is yeah, just going to be winning for white in this case. Um, yeah.